Hello everyone. My name really isn't important. What I have to say is the videos I'm about to make are an attempt to explain to people who aren't behavioral neuroscientists or psychologists what PSYOPs, psychological operations, psychological warfare is and how it works. Let's start off with our consciousness. Consciousness is defined as a level of awareness that relies on the acquisition and integration of information. The ability to manipulate this information, how it's interpreted, and how it's acted upon is a very old evolutionary survival mechanism. Information warfare is exhibited by countless species on our planet, not just humans. Now, information warfare, same thing as PSYOPs, psychological warfare, psychological operations. It's all the same thing, just branded differently. It's like, in the United States when we had the Secretary of War and they changed it to the Secretary of Defense. It's just phraseology. They're just fucking with your head. Okay. Psychological operations in humans are premeditated tactics that convey selected information and indicators to audiences in order to manipulate their object of reasoning, motives, and emotions, and ultimately the behavior of groups, organizations, governments, and individuals. That's U.S. Army straight out of the manual. Now, how do they do all this? PSYOPs is a very, very interdisciplinary field, but for me, there are two fields in particular that come together to form the foundation of PSYOPs, and that is consumer psychology and neuroeconomics. We have literally come to the point where we can literally predict, create, understand the biochemical processes that give rise to our mind. I mean, clearly we're not, doing Minority Report stuff per se, because we are doing a lot of Minority Report stuff, but we're very advanced in terms of neuroscience right now. So in consumer psychology and neuroeconomics, there's a tenet to that, and this is what it is. Very, very important. Evaluative, behavioral, identificational, and explanatory beliefs are products bought, sold, and traded on a psychic marketplace for their perceived utility. If you're still a little lost, look no further than Edward Bernays, who was a pioneer in the fields of consumer psychology and herd behavior. He did work for governments, intelligence agencies, conglomerates, and corporations all over the world. He was also Sigmund Freud's nephew, and arguably the most influential figure of the 21st century. Now, when compared to a behavioral or biological approach, psychoanalytic theory is consistently disparaged in our educational indoctrination as unreliable and questionably valid. Now, this is super important, guys. The reality is that the weaponization of psychoanalytic theory has undoubtedly proven to be the most powerful, evasive, and economically viable technique in a PSYOPs arsenal. It's a lot of information to take in, guys. A lot of information to read, look up on, catch up. I just want to leave you with a few other things. COINTELPRO, COINTELPRO, whistleblower proof, public knowledge in the FBI databases, online, whatever, public knowledge. Back in the 60s, the FBI engaged in illegal PSYOPs aimed at infiltrating, surveilling, disrupting, and discrediting domestic political organizations, civil rights groups, and workers' unions. That's dead-ass shit. They're doing the PSYOPs on us. If you don't think there's a COINTELPRO, there's a program like COINTELPRO in operation right now, you're an idiot. So the FBI is actually the physical strong man who does all the heavy lifting. Now, the CIA and the NSA, they're more intelligence grabbers. They do more research, they're more intelligence. The NSA is more of the intelligence grabber. So, but they also perform their own disruption programs. You know, they have a lot of internet divisions that go on the internet and plant fake news and do all types of shit on that. That's all in the Snowden files. But basically, the NSA does domestic spying and data collection. And they do that again. I have a lot of friends at AT&T and other places. Look up Titan Point, TITAN POINT. Titan Point was a secret room at AT&T where the NSA was just chugging all our information and stuff. So that's what the NSA does. The CIA has its very own non-profit venture capitalist firm. I don't know how you're a non-profit venture capitalist firm. I mean, I'm not fucking retarded, so I know that's stupid to even say. But if you look up InQtel on their website, it even says it right there, and it's just absolutely dumb. They are the CIA's very own venture capitalist firm. They give... It's like the CIA just has their own private, very own, like, what do you call it? Investment firm. It's like an investment company. Like, forget it. Anyway, fucking, and, Julian, anyway, okay. So CIA, so just start with that, I guess. Familiarize yourself with COINTELPRO. Look up Titan Point, MK Ultra, the Snowden leaks. They're all online. Familiarize yourself with all this, guys. Hit me up, any questions that you may have. I'm going to get into all this in a lot more detail, but I just kind of went over the basics, the very rudimentary basics, and so I gave you some examples of those basics that are hardcore, legitimate proof. And just remember, first rule of PSYOPs is you don't talk about PSYOPs, motherfucker.